Okay, so hey guys, welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm be predicting the Magsayo versus Figueroa fight. If you are new around here though and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you're doing indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So going into this fight, Magsayo is 24-1 with 16 KOs, and Figueroa is 23-1 with 18 KOs. This fight is for the WBC Interim World Featherweight title. Magsayo's last fight was a loss via split decision versus Vargas, and Figueroa's last fight was a win via TKO in round 6 versus Castro. Figueroa is the former WBA and WBC World Super Bantamweight champion, and Magsayo is the former WBC World Featherweight champion, so both been at and around a high level for a long time. Figueroa is a relentless fighter who works very well in close range, using lots of different punches, and is very well conditioned. Overall, a very, very good fighter. That relentlessness is what's managed to get a lot of his opponents out there. He doesn't always get the early KOs because he is powerful, but it's them combinations that are just too much for fighters, and it's the being able to do it in the later rounds, which a lot of people can't do, and that's what manages to get a lot of his opponents out of there. It's just, like I said, his relentlessness and his close range. He will fight in close, and he'll be throwing uppercuts, body shots, hooks, jabs, basically everything you can think of, and he'll just be doing that constantly, and that's what's just so impressive about him, is the fact that he can do that constantly and be so technical in the close range, and that's where he always likes to be. And I mean, at times he's fought on the outside and he struggled a little bit, but when he is fighting on the inside and not trying to, I suppose, outbox somebody, then he fights better. Figueroa isn't the best defensively and does get caught with big punches, but does have a good chin and will always throw back. He's never gonna take a punch and not give a punch back. Even in that Fulton fight, which he did lose, he was constantly throwing back, and even though he was getting caught with big shots. Same with the, I believe, Lewis Neri fight. I believe he fought him. Yeah, he was always throwing big punches back after receiving the big punches from Lewis Neri. And I mean, he does get caught with them, which is a bit of something you don't really want to see too much, and it's because he is just constantly coming forwards. But you know, it's just he's gonna have to have a good chin, and he does. So then things, it's not really a massive problem. But I suppose it depends who you're fighting, depends on how big of a problem that is. Magsayo will have to not try and attack continuously and slip out and kind of use his really good movement to be able to slip around punches, slip in and out, and not be able to, not trying to just stand there. And I mean, he probably should change the tempo at points, but he does struggle with that a little bit, Magsayo. But yeah, he'll have to try to counter punch, which he does seem to like to do, and use his good movement to be able to get around him. But yeah, he's gonna have to try up the tempo at points. But I've seen there's been points where he's not done that, and Figueroa will definitely be coming out with a fast tempo, so he's going to have to change at points, but we'll have to see if he can do that. Figueroa isn't the best fighting at distance, and that's where Magsayo kind of prefers. I mean, it's not a mad distance, it's more like a mid-range, but not as close up as what Figueroa probably would prefer. So if he can keep him at that range using his movement and not get caught in the corners, and maybe try not to control the centre of the ring too much, then that will be something that Magsayo is going to want to do. Both fighters, though, are very powerful. I mean, Magsayo's explosive style, where he'll attack in flurries, is why he gets a lot of his opponents out of there. He will attack in the flurries, and he'll count people out, if that makes sense. Catch people out, that's the way of putting it. And yeah, they won't be able to kind of stop that. And they are both powerful fighters, and I still think this will probably go past the 6th round, though, because they're not crazily powerful. I don't think they have one punch knockout power, but I mean, I'm happy to be proved wrong. Magsayo also has great reflexes and movement, which is two things, like I said, he's going to have to use very well. And like I said, he likes to fight at more of a distance compared to Figueroa, so that's another thing he's going to have to use well. And when Figueroa's coming in, try and counter, because like I said, he does get caught at points. Magsayo will have a point to prove, because he did just suffer that loss against Vargas, and of course, that being the first loss of his career, he's going to want to come back and bounce back, and that he'll have less pressure on. If he loses, he's already lost already, so he's going to have less pressure on him then. But I respect him for taking this big fight straight after the Vargas fight, because a lot of fighters might want a bit of an easier fight, before they go back into the big top contenders. But Magsayo didn't want that, and he's thrown himself straight back in, which is something that I do always like to see. Figueroa is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Magsayo will win via TKO in round 7. I think, like I've said, a lot of things that Magsayo can do, and if he can just up the tempo that little bit more at points and try and kind of push Figueroa at points, then he'll be able to, I think he'll be able to get the win. And if he can catch him in one maybe the later rounds, or 7 to maybe 10 round, then he'll be able, when Figueroa's coming forwards, then he might be able to get that TKO that I'm thinking he will get by round 7. And then there's a few people he can fight. I believe they're all Mexican fighters of what I put here. Lara, Lopez, and Vargas. Lara, WBA champion, of course, would be a good fight, and another way to get another belt. Same with Lopez, IBF champion, another very good fight. I think Lopez would probably be the easier fight, arguably, than Lara, but I mean, either way, they'll both be very entertaining fights. Or Vargas, the rematch. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Of course, Vargas coming off the loss, going up in the weight division, and so I mean, he's still the WBC champion, and so if he's going to come back down, he might take the rematch. If maybe after one more fight, maybe he might want like a tune-up fight or something, or just a fight to get him back in the swing of things in this weight division. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. And yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you didn't, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.